Book of the month. Oops. Book of the month. High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. We have read other books by him. Okay, and we are going live. Okay. Okay, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. All right, everybody. We are reading High Performance Habits. What I'm doing with these books is I'm only reading 11 pages, even though I'm going to read when I get home. I'm going to read the whole thing. I apologize if my live feed goes off. I am recording it on my other device so that my team and anybody else who wants to listen knows. And here's the reason why I'm doing it. I'm on a 90-day mission right now. I'm on day like 33 or something else. And every day I promised at a certain time I was going to read books. And just in case you were wondering the books I read and what I do, it's what I do. So right now I'm going to read 11 pages, but I just got done reading some more of this book, Manifesto, The Prayer of Jabez. But this is all part of my mission to basically show you I don't just do things. I do it and show you so I can prove that you can do it too, even if you only do part of what I do. So we're going to skip the introduction, High Performance Habits, because I've already read that. And we're going to go into page 29, and we are starting on chapter 1. And it's an email that changed my life. And it starts out with Beyond Natural, the quest for high performance. This is by William Faulkner, this particular passage. Don't bother just to be better than your contemporaries or predecessors. Try to be better than yourself. Okay? So anyway, and right now my charging is fine. But anyway, so right now, an email that changed my life. Brendan, I'm at an INTG on the Myers-Briggs type indicator. This tells you absolutely nothing about me or my ability to succeed. Not now, not over the next few years. My top 2 strengths on the strength funnels are develop and achieve. This also tells you absolutely nothing about my ability to get things done or attain any specific outcomes. On the Kolb, I score a highest as a quick start. This means nothing because over time, I've had to deal with real life and improve at the other modes. I suck at like fact-finding, follow-through, and implementer. I prefer blue over green. I'm more like a lion than a chimp. I'm gritty, but too often lazy. I identify more with a circle than a square. I eat mostly a Mediterranean diet, but like hamburgers. I like being around people for a while, but often I long to escape into solitude with a pot of tea and a thick book. I shop weekly at Whole Foods, but many of my lunch times are spent. I shop weekly at Whole Foods, but many are spent at cheap Mexican place. Nothing about any of this can tell you anything at all about my capabilities, my odds of success, or my future performance. So please, man, stop trying to bucket me into a type or assume that my strengths or background give me any edge whatsoever. Labeling people sucks, regardless of how it's done. I hear you that these assessments are for exploring and learning about myself, not labeling me or directing me per se. But look, we know my supposed strengths and they're still not helping me get ahead. My natural tendencies don't do the job as a leader. I have to be honest, sometimes it's just not about who I am, what I prefer, or what I'm naturally good at. It's about me, raising to serve a mission, not the mission bowing down to match my limited strengths. I know you like to ask about my background too. You know I'm from the Midwest, but now live in California. My mom raised me and my sister by herself. She was a hairstylist in the mornings and a hostess at a buffet at night. Dad quit on her and us when I was 14. I got an average grades. I was only bullied once or twice. I loved to play golf in college. In about a 5-year period after college, I went through 2 pretty bad relationships. I was fired once. But I found some good friends too, and I gradually acquired confidence. I sort of stumbled into the work I do now, but it's great. This background too tells you nothing about my potential. It gives no definitive clues or paths to get ahead today. So I'm just being honest. Brendan, I know you like personality assessments and to ask about background, but if everyone has a past and a story, then certainly a person's past or story is not what gives them an edge. I guess I am saying that I can do the navel gazing just fine on my own. I hired you to tell me what to do to get to the next level. I need to know what to do, Brendan. What practices work regardless of personality? Don't say who high performance are. Tell me what they do at the granular level across projects and can be replicated. That level of detail, that's the gold. Find it for me and you have a client for life. Otherwise, it's time to part ways. I received this email from Tom, a coaching client early in my career. To say the least, it took me by surprise. Tom was a kind person, a successful executive who collaborated and always willing to try new things. An email like this, putting our working relationship on notice unless I found the gold, was unusual from him. The follow-up conversation I had it with him was even more direct. He was exasperated. Tom wanted results, but I wasn't sure how we could get them. This was a decade ago, but then when I was just a run-of-the-mill life coach, it was common to do 4 things to figure out how to help someone improve their performance. It often began with asking a client questions about what he or she wanted and what limiting beliefs got in the way. You also interviewed them about the past, trying to spot any events that might be influencing their current behaviors. Second, you use assessment tools to help determine personality styles, patterns, and preferences. The goal was to help people better understand themselves and any behaviors that might help them succeed. Popular tools include Myers-Briggs, the Clifton Strength, finding the Kolbe Index, and the DISC test. Often the life coach would hire experts or consultants certified in these tools to help administer them. Third, the coach would sift through performance reviews from work and talk to the people around the clients, using a 360-degree assessment to figure out how others perceived them and what others wanted from them. You talk to the people they lived and worked with. Fourth, you'd evaluate their actual output. You'd look at their past results to see what stood out, what processes helped them create good work, how they would most love to make an impact. So in this tradition, I did all these things because Tom liked tangible data and reports. We spent a lot of time taking them and discussing the assessments. We worked with several high-level consultants who were experts in the various tools. We had binders full of information. Then, over a span of 2 years, despite knowing my client's traits, talents, scores, and backgrounds, I watched him continually fail. I felt terrible. I couldn't figure out why he wasn't achieving the results he wanted. That was about the time he sent the email. The lab. Fast forward a decade from Tom's email. I am now blessed to have one of the largest personal professional development labs, which is how we think of my global audience and platforms in the world. As of this writing, the audience includes over 10 million followers across Facebook pages, 2 million plus newsletters, subscribers, 1.5 million students who have completed my video series or online courses, thousands of attendees of our multi-day live high-performance seminars, millions of books and blogs, readers on the topics of motivation, psychology, and life change, and over 500,000 YouTube subscribers. This audience has now helped my personal development videos exceed 100 million views online, and all without a single cat video. What's unique about the audience is that they come to us solely for personal development, advice, and training, which gives us an illuminating view into what people are struggling with, what they say they want in life, and what helps them change. At the High Performance Institute, we use this large public following to take surveys, conduct interviews, mine data from student behavior and comments, and study before and after results of online training courses, one-to-one performance-based coaching sessions. Every time we want to understand something about human behavior and high performance, we go to our lab for insights. Much of what we've learned from these large audience and data sets sounds like common sense. In becoming successful, hard work, passion, practice, resilience, and people skills are often more important than IQ, raw talent, or what you're from. Nothing here should be surprising, since this knowledge dovetails with contemporary resources on success and world-class performance. Read any of the latest social science, and I have provided plenty of endnotes in case you want to read the studies for yourself. Endnotes, sorry, not endnotes. And you'll see that success is general in almost any endeavor, is made possible by malleable factors, things you can change and improve with effort. For example, the mindset you choose to adopt, the focus you give to your passions, and the persistence you pursue them with, the amount of practice you dedicated yourself to, the way you understand and treat others, the discipline and consistency with which you strive your goals, the way you bounce back from losses, the amount of physical exercise you do to keep your brain and body fit, and your overall well-being cared for. What has emerged in our work and in the science and academic literature is that success is achieved not by a specific type of person, but rather by people from all walks of life who enact a specific set of practices. The question that inspired this book was, what exactly are the most effective practices? Finding what matters. Over the past several years, we've zeroed in on what moves the needle most in helping people achieve long-term success, and we found that what Tom knew initially, high performers do things indifferently from the way others do, and their practices can be replicated across projects in almost any situation, regardless of your personality, past, or preferences. In fact, we found that there are 6 deliberate habits that made most of the difference in performance outcomes across the domains. Even your greatest strengths or natural abilities are moot without these habits to support them. To uncover which habits matter most, we used relevant concepts from the academic literature, data from our global lab, and insights from 3,000 high-performance coaching sessions. We then marshaled all these inputs to create structure, interview questions that we could ask high performers. We identified high performers through standard social science practices, such as survey identification and objective performance measures, e.g., academic performance, athletic performance, objective business, and financial outcomes. For example, we asked people how strongly they agreed with statements such as the following. Most of my peers would consider me a high performer. Over the past few years, I've generally maintained a high level of success. If high performance is defined as succeeding at what you do over the long term compared to most people, I identify as a high performer. In my primary field of interest, I've had success for a long time than most of my peers. For those who strongly identified with these statements, we then conducted a one-on-one interview with them and often their peers. We also took additional surveys asking the self-reported high-performance questions such as, when you start a new project, what do you consistently and consciously and consistently do to set yourself up to win? What personal and performance routines help you stay focused, energized, creative, productive, and effective? We asked about each trait in turn. What habits have you started and discarded, and what habits have you kept that always seem to work? What reoccurring thoughts and affirmations do you purposely say to yourself to perform your best when you go into new situations, respond to adversity or disappointment, and help others? If you had to discern 3 things that make you successful and you knew you could deploy only those 3 again in your next major project, what would those 3 things be? When you prepare for meetings or match performances, scene conversations that really matter, how do you go about your preparation and your practice? If you took on a major new team project tomorrow, what exactly would you say to do to set your team up for success? Which habits get you quick wins and which are long-term practices that make you stand out? When you're under the pressure of a near-term deadline, how do you maintain or project your well-being? What do you habitually tell yourself when you experience self-doubt or disappointment or feel that you're failing? What makes you confident? How do you turn on the confidence when you need it? How do you approach dealing with other people in your life who are don't support, and you want to support you, but who don't? What practices keep you happy, healthy as you strive for your biggest goals? These questions and dozens more like them help us begin narrowing down the factors and habits that high performance reported as making the greatest difference in their success. Clear themes emerge, and as initial list of almost two dozen high performance habits was created. Next, we roll out surveys to the general public with questions similar to those we asked the self-reported high performance. After studying with habits best differentiated high performance from those in our general ways, we narrow the list even more. Finally, we pared it down to the habits that we deliberate, observable, malleable, trainable, and most important, effective across domains. That is, we want habits that would help someone become successful, not just in one domain or experience, but across multiple topic areas, activities, and industries. We wanted habits that anyone, anywhere, in any field of endeavor could apply over and over again to measurably improve performance. Ultimately, just 6 habits. That went off on me. Ultimately, just 6 habits made the grade. We call these final 6 the high performance habits of HP6. Once we identify the HP6, we work to conduct additional literature reviews and validity tests. We created the high performance indicator based on 6 habits as well as other proven success measures. We tested HPI pilot over the 30,000 people from 195 countries and quantitatively proved its validity, reliability, and usefulness. We found that not only do the 6 habits combine to correlate with high performance, but each habit correlates with high performance on its own. And together, these correlate with other important life outcomes, such as general happiness, better health, and positive relationships. The HP6 will help you succeed whether you are a student, entrepreneur, manager, CEO, athletes, or other stay-at-home parents, whether you are already successful or not. These habits will help you reach the next level. While dozens of other factors can affect your long-term success, luck, timing, social support, or sudden creative breakthroughs, to name the few, the HB6 are under your control and improve your performance more than anything else we've measured. If you want to reach higher level of performance in anything, you must do consistently the following. Seek clarity on who you want to be, how you want to interact with others, what you want, and what will be bringing you the greatest measure. As every other project or manager, seek clarity on who you want to be, how you want to interact with others, what you want, and what will bring you the greatest meanings. As every project or major interactive beginning, you ask questions such as, what kind of person do I want to be while I'm doing this? How should I treat others? What are my intentions and objectives? What can I focus on that will bring me a sense of connections, fulfillment, high performance? Ask these types of questions not only at the beginning of the endeavor, but consistently throughout. They do not just get clarity once. And develop a mission statement that lasts the test of time. They consistently seek clarity again and again. At times change, and as they take on new projects or enter new social situations, this kind of routine self-monitoring is one of the hallmarks of their success. Generate energy so that you can maintain focus, effort, and well-being to stay on a game. You'll need actively care for your mental stamina, physical energy, and positive emotions in very specific ways. Raise the necessity for exceptional performance. This means actively tapping into the reasons you absolutely must perform well. This necessity is based on a mix of your internal standards, e.g., your identity, beliefs, values, expectations for excellence, and external demands, social obligations, competitions, public commitment, deadlines. It's all about always knowing your why and stoking the fire for all times so you feel the need to drive or pressure to get at it. Increase productivity in your primary field of interest. Specifically, focus on your prolific quality output, PQO, in the area that you are wanting to know and drive impact. You'll also have a minimized distraction, including opportunities that steal your attentive from creating PQO. Develop influence with those around you. It will make you better at getting people to believe in you and support your efforts and ambitions. Unless you consciously develop a positive support network, major achievement over the long haul are all about impossible. Demonstrate courage by expressing your ideas, taking bold action, standing up for yourself and others, even in the face of fear, uncertainty, threat, or changing conditions. Courage is not an occasional act, but a trait of choice and will. Seek clarity, generate energy, raise necessity, increase productivity, develop influence, demonstrate courage. These are the 6 habits that you need to adopt if you are to reach high performance in any situation. In the hundreds of personal efforts and social behaviors that we've observed, these habits move the needle the most in dramatically improving performance. In the next 6 chapters, you'll address the extraordinary power unlocked by developing these habits. Strength alone are never enough. You may have noticed that nowhere in this list does it say focus on your innate gift, talent, blessings, past, or strength. That's because no matter how great a personality you have, how many supposed innate strengths you possess, how much money you have, how beautiful you are, how creative you are, what talents you've culminated, or how brilliant you've succeeded in the past, none of these things would mean much on their own. They wouldn't matter if you didn't know what you wanted and how to get it. Clarity. Felt too wiped out to performance energy. Hold on real quick. Of these things, they wouldn't matter if you didn't know what you wanted and how to get it. Clarity. Felt too wiped out to perform energy. Didn't have a sense of drive or any pressure to get things done. Necessity. Couldn't focus and create the outputs that matter most. Productivity. Lacked the people skills to get others to believe in you and your support. Influence, or failed to take risks or speak up for yourself and others. Courage. Without the HP6, even the most gifted person would be lost. Tired, unmotivated, unproductive, alone, or fearful. Effectiveness in life does not come from focusing on what is automatic, easy, or natural for us. Rather, it is a result of how we consciously strive to meet life's harder challenges, grow beyond our comforts, and deliberately work to overcome our biases and preferences so that we may understand, love, serve, and lead others. When I make this argument, people often balk due to the popularity of the strength movement. Personality, I'm a fan of any tool that helps people learn more about themselves. I'm also greatly admire Gallup, the organization that has led the strength-based revolution, but I don't recommend that people use the strength assumptions to lead others or to seek the next level of success in their own lives. The strength movement is based on the idea that we have innate strength, talents that we are born with. It assumes we are naturally good at some things from birth and that we might as well focus on those things without question. That's a feel-good formula, and it's certainly better than obsessing about our weakness all the time. My main reservation about the strength move is that in a complex and rapidly changing world, reaching the top doesn't come naturally to anyone, regardless of what you are naturally good at. To rise higher, you must go beyond what came naturally to your birth or in your teen years. Right, that's why the innate argument doesn't hold up so well. To reach exceptional performance and win over the long term, you'll be required to develop well beyond what is easy. Hold on. Turn that off. We're required about easy. Sorry, it's going to be a little loud. My phone's like completely hot. Easy and naturally, because the real world is full of uncertainty and every increase demands for growth. Your natural birth strengths will not be enough. As Tom said in the email to me at the beginning of this chapter, it's about me rising to serve a mission, not the mission bowing down to match my legitimate strengths. If you have great ambition to contribute extraordinary things, you'll have to grow and stretch far beyond what's natural to you. To rise to high performance, you'll have to work on the weakness, develop entirely new skill sets beyond what you find easy or what you like to do. It should be common sense. If you really want to make your mark, you'll have to grow more to give more, and that won't feel easy or natural. In the end, even if you don't agree with my thinking process, here, knowing your personality type or supposed innate strengths just isn't all that useful in helping you achieve your next big goal in uncertain environments. Knowing your label or strength or just trying to be more of that is like telling a bear that's trying to get honey out of a nest high on or exploring cliff, just trying to be more of a bear. To my friends and colleagues running companies, let's stop spending all this money on the expensive strength and personality assessments and vain attempts to categorize people, and instead strengthen focus on training our people in proven habits that anyone can use to up their performance. The good news is no one innately lacks any of the high performance habits. High performances are not lucky stiffs loaded with a great big bag of strengths at birth. They simply deploy that habits we've discussed and do it more consistently than their peers. That's it. That's the difference. So it doesn't matter whether you are extrovert or introvert, an NJP or an ESP, a Christian or an atheist, a Spaniard or a Symphorian, or an artist or an engineer, a manager or CEO, or an achiever or an analyzer, a mom or a Martian. The 6 high performance habits each have the power to make dramatic impact on the areas that matter most to you. Together, they have the power to revolutionize your performance across every meaningful domain in your life. You are not supposed to be initially good at the HP6. You have to work at them all the time. Whether you hope to succeed at a new goal, project, or dream, you have to bust out the HP6. Every time you find yourself performing below your full potential, bring the HP6 to bear. If you ever wonder why you're failing at something, just go take the HPI and identify which habits you're scoring low in. Then improve that area and you'll be back on track. This deliberate focus is an important distinction, especially because it frees us from the myth that success comes more naturally to some than others. Looking across the decade, serving so many elite level achievements as well as our surveys and professional assessments, we just haven't seen high performance consistency correlate strongly with personal IQ, innate talent, creativity, years of experience, gender, race, culture, compassion, and the past 2 decades of research in neuroscience of positive psychology. Researchers have begun to notice the same flip for the old model on its head. What we do with what we have tends to be far more important than what we have in the first place. What you're initially good at is less important than how you chose to see the world. Develop yourself, lead others, and remain persistent through difficulty. We all know someone who has all the cards stacked in their favor. Blessed, upbringing, great personality, creative mind, but who still doesn't get off the couch or succeed. Lots of people are highly paid, but not high performing. Anyone in an organization who has any of their team take a strength assessment can surely attest that plenty of their peers know their strengths and even do work related to their strength, but still fail to deliver great work. And in any given great company culture, there are always high performance and low performance. Why? Because high performance is not about specific type of person. It's not about winning the genetic lottery, how long you've worked, the shade of your skin, how many people are supporting you, and what you're getting paid. It's about your performance habits, which you have complete control over. This finding is worth hammering home because too many people use these factors to explain their poor performance. Just think how often you hear about things such as, I just don't have the personality to get ahead. I'm just not extrovert, intrusive, charismatic, open, conscientious. I'm just not the smartest person in the room. I'm just not naturally gifted like they are. I wasn't born good at that. I don't have the right mix of strengths. I'm not a bright-brained person. I do not have enough experience. I'm a woman, black, man, Latino, middle-aged, white guy, immigrant. That's why I'm not succeeding. My company culture doesn't support me. I'd be a lot better if they paid me what I'm really worth. It's time we all recognize these reasons for what they are. Lame excuses for suboptimal performance, especially over the long term. This is not to say nutrition factors don't matter at all. There is strong evidence that they are important, especially in childhood development, and many of these factors can dramatically influence your mood, behavior, choice, health, relationship as an adult. If you like more academic treatment of why those factors are important, but matters less for long-term success than most people imagine, please visit our publication article, highperformanceinstitute.com research. Leaders should take note. Focusing on any of the factors I mentioned in this list won't get you very far in helping other people improve the performance. Those factors are just not that easy to find, manage, or improve. For example, imagine you're working on a project with few teammates. You have one person in particular who is not performing well. Imagine how ridiculous it would be for you to walk over to say, if you could just improve your personality for us, if you could just up your IQ, if you could just change how you were initially gifted, if you could just be more right-brained, if you could just have 5 more years experience under your belt, if you could just be more Asian, Black, American, white, male, female, if you could just improve the culture here really quick, if you could just pay yourself the perfect amount to be more productive. You get the point. These are simple, not useful categories to focus on. The bottom line is that if you're going to go focus on anything to prove you're at your team's performance, start with HP 6. I'm going to stop there because I've read more than 11 pages, but I promised everybody I would do just 11. I know I went too far, I went more. I've got to get back to work. My time is critical right now, so I am now charging my phone. Thanks, everybody.